Hi, welcome to the next episode of the Filthy Gearbox Garage, where we deal with Saga of the green camper bus and the blue one at the same time. In this video, we're going to be taking all that free paneling that I got out of that mill, and we're going to be putting some of it in this one, and we're also going to be putting a bunch of it in the green one. We're going to use this blue one as a test bed to see how skilled I am at putting paneling up in Volkswagen buses. Now, if you want to actually just head to that part of the video when the project spins, then I suggest you go to the time code of whatever I'm pointing to right now, whatever number it is. But if you want to see some other stupid side quest on how and why the raccoon population of Massachusetts owes me a solid, well, just, let the video play. I was getting this bus ready to go to a swap meet in April of 2022. Oh boy. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I have not worked out here for about 6 months, and I've certainly left things quite a mess. I was in the middle of working on taking motorcycles apart, and it also looks like a bunch of leaves got in, and someone was chewing at something up there. I think an animal got in here. Alright. I'm gonna have to shuffle some stuff around if I'm gonna actually work in this space. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So there's the red Carmen Ghia, which I've been thinking about just sticking an engine in it and trying to sell it off as a project. My not rusty DS with the stuck engine. That is on hold for now, and a bunch of parts for the DS. So let me shuffle things around and see if I can make some space here. What is that noise? No, there's something living up here. I know it. Oh no. I don't have a good feeling about this. Oh my god, I could just reach in and pet them. That would be a bad idea though. It's really annoying me. Every time I think I have these buildings all sealed off where I can store seats and car parts, no, the fucking critters get back in. So basically what happens when you have a building that you just... My dad filled it full of stuff. Half the shit that's in here is still his, to be honest. He never finished it because it was never finished. You can't store things upstairs because it's not finished. Critters get in and the critters destroy everything. And I have raccoons, plural, living upstairs. I have a mama and with a bunch of kits, and I don't know what to do about this. I can't seal the building before I actually get them out, and put it that way. And I can't seal the... I gotta pull everything out of this fucking building just to seal it and then put everything back in. God, this sucks. Oh god. So I can't get anything done. I'm here to do something specific. God damn it. So the motorcycles are out. I actually went and stuck the fenders and the hood back on the DS. So it's like a car again, doesn't it? Kind of makes you want to work on it. This shelving unit with lots of parts on it, and it's not very stable, and I'm gonna reposition it so it's more against the wall in between the two windows, clear out some stuff from the corner, hopefully give myself enough space so that I can move those two engines there, and then I'll actually be able to get the back of the bus right in here. And also, when it comes time to pull the Carmen Ghia out of here, currently the Carmen Ghia is so locked in, the only way you could move it is by sliding the back out and then sliding the front out, and even then there's no room, so this needs to get out of here. So it's taking me a good day to clean it, so I'm back the next day, and I've removed the bumper, and I'm going to be pulling the engine out soon, and apparently you can totally see where my exhaust leak. However, I don't really want to get involved in the exhaust today, because all I want to do is replace this heat riser pipe that you see there that's got a hole in it, and take the carburetor off and rebuild the carburetor, and do a valve adjustment and do something about the, I think there's some oil leaks down there in the valve cover gasket. I'm gonna have to use one out of a bug, so it doesn't have, that's a little vacuum thing. It'll work for now, but if I have to put this engine back into a bus, I'm gonna have to track down that pipe. But I've just painted it, so it looks like I'm putting on a shiny new part. Yeah. The mother raccoon moved her nest to some other place, but she left one of the kittens behind because the little kitten was inside one of the springs of the seats. So I put the kitten in a box and left her there, hoping that the mama raccoon would come back the next night. All right, turns out there's one. And he was jammed up under the springs. He'd gone up in here. So there's no way he could get out, so I had to tear a hole right there to get him out. I don't know if the mommy's gonna come back for him or her. I'm not quite sure what to do about this little boy or girl, this little kitten. Am I gonna be bottle feeding a raccoon? Oh no. Who knows what I just signed up for? So I contacted an animal rehabber that does raccoons, a place called Hair of the Dog in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and arranged for them to say, like, okay, if this little baby raccoon is going to be there the next morning, I'm going to have to go and warm her up because it was actually getting really cold at night. This was like April. And basically warm her up and give her kitten formula from a bottle. And I came back and, of course, the kitten was still there. So, and she was ice cold, pretty much 95% dead. And the poor little thing. So I warmed her up with a hot water bottle and fed her the milk because she needed it, and her little eyes were closed, and brought her, nursed her back to warmth and back to health, and then put her in a little thing and brought her to the place in Plymouth. Now, I was very, 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 very tempted to keep this little thing because I was like, oh, I could just bring it home, bottle feed it, and treat it like a kitten. But if you know anything about raccoons, they're very intelligent, and they'll be like, they'll break into your cabinets with pliers and stuff. So, yeah. Little raccoon grew up just fine and was released out into the wild. So, raccoons of the world, you owe me one. You owe me big time. So, I did seal off the building, so no more raccoons living in there. And I did make it to the swap meet just fine. But that's not what this video is about. This is about doing paneling on the blue bus. So let's just get into that instead. All right, so I'm here again on the blue bus, and I've actually decided that as cool and as interesting as the, how should we call it, the bare bones interior of a commercial combi bus is, I'm a little tired driving this thing around, and very loud inside and not very comfortable. I've decided that I am okay with customizing the inside a little bit. However, I'm going to try to drill as few holes as possible in the thing because I do want to maintain some of the originality. So, okay, so I had cut out when I was working on all that paneling I got for the green bus, which we've seen in the previous episode. I hadn't figured out what color I was going to use in the green bus, so I'd cut out some light tan colored panels, and I'd cut out some more wood grain ones for the green bus. And I decided to go with the wood grain ones for the bus, but I am left over with a lot of tan paneling, and I've just figured out that the tan paneling would actually work really nice in the blue one, because the blue one has this tan body color in the inside. So that's what I'm left with. So I have panels basically already cut, more or less ready to go in here. Also turns out that I have 3 of these armrests that would pretty much go right here through the original panels of, say, a deluxe bus. So here is a deluxe bus panel that goes on. These things screw through these holes here, and they screw through into here. Unfortunately, this being a commercial combi bus and being very basic, there's an extra piece of metal that isn't here that those screws actually screw into, because it's not just like sheet metal screws. And if you look at the green one, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So on the green one, as you can see, here's the same cross here, but there's this extra piece of metal here which has threaded holes. So I'm not quite sure what I should do about this. On the green one, which was a deluxe bus, I'm going to use this paneling, but I don't think I'm ever going to screw armrests into it. So I could very carefully drill through all the spot welds that hold these on and then weld these pieces onto the other one. That is a lot of work though, although I could remove them from here and maybe sheet metal screw them to the other one. Thing though was I was trying to not drill a million holes into the blue bus, which is over there. But maybe I don't actually care. I don't know. Haven't quite figured this out yet, and maybe I can wait around a little bit longer for this. But yeah, actually you can see this a little bit better on the other side. You can see what the extra piece of metal is and how it has. There we go. There's the holes. And also, presumably, behind this panel here, which I can't see at the moment, there's some kind of bracket that's missing on the blue one. As you can see, the blue one, presumably there'd be a piece right here. There's nothing here at all, and I definitely want to have an armrest here for that panel. The other option would be to just take this bit and secure it to the, just to the paneling, with something that goes around the backside and not have it screw directly into the car. That might actually work just fine, maybe on the back ones. It might even work fine on the front ones. I mean, I could get kind of complicated and, attach this in and have, build some kind of bracket thing on this, and it probably would be strong enough. But the very first thing I can do right now is, in preparation for that, maybe I can take this original panel and use this as a guide to figuring out where the holes would go. Alright. So we get our panel and we have our... Come on. Come on. Alright. Could we just... Could we just screw these to these panels and sort of be done with it? I think the problem is... these things are at a little bit of an angle. So just screwing them directly will probably tear through the masonite. So there's another problem I've come up with here, is this piece of metal here, which the paneling will sneak under, or at least the original paneling, is, well, this paneling here is a lot thicker than the old stuff, and it doesn't want to go under there. Not without bending this up, which is what I don't want to do. So this is going to require me to use a router or something to maybe just take a little bit off this edge, and that way I can, just sort of sneak it under there. Because as you can see, there's no way that's going to sneak under there. Alright, so what I ended up doing was using a utility knife to score this and then to shave just one layer, well, wouldn't call it layers, but just to shave a little bit off of the paneling. And then hopefully this will squeeze under that little piece of metal and it'll look pretty good. And then I'll figure out what I'm doing about the armrests. Hopefully this will go right in. However, now that I'm in there, and I don't know if I want to actually ever be in here again, it might be nice to do something about that. So I have this Frost King duct insulation stuff, which people use as a sound deadening and insulation as well. So probably cut some pieces to go in here. It's ugly, but we're not going to see it, so it's fine. People do this a lot. People will cover the entire ceiling with it before they put paneling in, and it's the only way you can make these things sort of livable if you're going to drive in them. So let's see how that goes. That's already, I think that's made a difference. How well this fits. Ow. Get your fingers out of there. I think I can live with that seam up there. It's actually not too bad. All right, it is a lovely May day, and I'm going to be working on the blue one here today, kind of wrapping up some of the interior stuff that I want to do on it. However, I need to use some parts from the green one here in order to make it happen. However, I have decided that as interesting as the sort of plain panel interior was, and the, you know, metal ceiling, I got kind of bored of that, and I've decided that I am going to put that kind of paneling up on the ceiling, which is going to be very difficult. And I'm going to put seats in it and armrests, and I've pulled down what was left of the original headliner up front here, and I have the headliner that I pulled out of the green one. I think the first thing I'm going to have to do is just see if this is going to clean up, because this is filthy. And yeah, someone like spray glue in the inside. Anyway, so the first goal is to get headliner in the cab section, and then from here back it's going to be this paneling. That also has a couple of challenges, because the obvious way with the lines of the paneling should go lengthwise, right? Problem with that is 48 inches across is like from here to about here. You really need wider than 48 inches to get across here, and I haven't quite figured that out. I don't know if I'm going to do a piece that goes to here and it butts up against another piece with a piece of wood behind it. I don't know if I'm going to do one 48-inch long piece and then have a little panel. I'm going to have to do some experimentation with all that paneling I have. However, I have tons of this paneling, so I can afford to make some mistakes. And the way I'm going to actually connect this, hopefully, is my goal was to just put like a board and have the board be kind of stuck in here, right? And the paneling would actually screw to the boards in some nice looking way that doesn't look like a hack job. Because as you can see, like these panels already, basically they just go in under here, and hopefully that'll snug up when I finish it. Like that one there looks pretty good. And that is just temporary. But the first thing I think I need to put in is this headliner. Alright, so I've gone and made myself a spudger, or what do you want to call it? It's just a piece of metal that's long, and I put a piece of duct tape on it, and this is going to allow me to sneak under here. And so this thing so I have to carefully remove the dome light, because I don't want to break that. And then it appears that behind this line of things is some kind of metal thing that would hold it all in. So I got to pull out all that old headliner, and I got to get that out. So that means I'm going to be doing some surgery on this, but at the same time, it's going to make the whole thing smaller and easier for me to clean it. And that was kind of the whole point with this thing, is that this is just raw material. I'm never going to put this back in a bus because it's got lots of other rips and stuff. All right, I have the pieces and the sun visors. I cleaned them up the best I could. And this, unfortunately, is going to have to wait till tomorrow, because these need to be completely dry before I can sew the pieces all together. Okay, we're back the next day, and we are letting my headliner sit out in the sun so that it gets nice and pliable. I have it all sewed up. I actually ended up not even using the original piece that had the holes for the mirror and the sun visors, because I didn't want to be tied down to those. So this is basically a brand new piece made out of the scraps, and the next thing we're going to do, I guess, is put a little bit of spray glue on it in some places and then get it up there. This is all cleared. I didn't get quite as much muck from around the corners out there as I want to. Oh, there's a little bit of rust in there. We're just going to ignore that. And I guess the first thing we need to do is get a little bit of spray glue around there without getting any of it on the windshield, and just put the thing up, I guess. What I'm doing wrong here. I thought it was kind of just stay up on its own. What the hell is my glue? Alright, there's been a lot of swearing and cussing and shouting, and got one edge done. It is still not perfect. The best thing I've been using is my spudger in here to just jam it in, but I have gotten the glue I put on didn't really do the trick. I had to put more glue on. I have gluey fingerprints I'm gonna have to remove from it. I'll just this has been a mess, but I think it's working okay. Alright, and I'm going to say it is done. I still have to tuck a little bit more in there. Here's the problem I've noticed about doing these headliners is this line of metal that goes all around that crimps under it. It does get metal fatigue after a while, so this is I assume this is the second time we've done this, but you open them up and then you bang them closed again, and they do get metal fatigue, so I hope this stays up. I'll just say that. With any luck, it won't fall down. And then this front edge around the windshield, I just tucked under the gasket. When I have the windshield out, I will properly glue that so that it actually goes around the lip where the gasket goes on. But I am glad that I didn't work with a version of this that had holes in it, because that would have been a nightmare. I bet you nothing would have lined up right. So now I gotta make the holes, put the mirror and sun visors and the dome light back in. Alright. That is as good as it's gonna get. I think so long that doesn't come out. I think I'm gonna work with that. I definitely do need new sun visors. These are just awful, and I don't have the clips there. Those things always break. Right. I'm in the green bus now, and I need to remove this bracket here and these two brackets here. This is what the armrests screw into. This one's gonna actually, all I gotta do is drill out these 4 spot welds, and then there's 2 down here in each one, and then those will come right off. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill them out with a drill bit and use a thing called a depth stop so I don't go too far in, although maybe I don't need to do that. This one is going to be a little bit tougher because there's a whole bunch of spot welds down there and then a whole bunch here. There's a lot of spot welds in this, and that there is actually this bit here is actually the outside of the car, so I don't know how the heck that's going to even come out. Oh wait, no. Right there. Spot welds are right here, so I don't have to do that. That's good, because that's the outside of the car. Oh, seriously? Hopefully these other top ones just, and there we are. one piece. I got those pieces off. I'm just gonna give this a little bit of green paint so it doesn't rust anymore. And I'll just probably give this a coat of beige paint and then figure out how I'm gonna connect it. I'm either gonna rivet it or screw it in to the other car. I did not film this, but that is about a combination of rivets and screws, and it's in the right place. Let's see what we can do about that one now. Okay, after much struggling, I got the piece on there. I've got that on there. I just got to put some of that, Frost King Dynamat stuff. Not quite sure why I'm doing that. It's just sound deadening. I don't know if I need it in there, but I started there. I might as well keep going. I still have that side to do, and in comparison, the green one has those pieces removed and a lot of holes there. And interestingly enough, when I took that off, there was bare metal behind it, so it's good that I got something on there to keep it from rusting. So the nice thing is, now that they're off, I can do the that stuff, the budget Dynamat. I can do that on these, and I can actually put the paneling on this for good. Except at least if I actually have to fix a hole down there. I don't know. But we're not working on this one today. We're working on that one. So let's continue. And yeah, next step. There we go. It is in. I don't know if it's supposed to be at a slight incline. Oh, but that was a pain in the ass. Let's go for this next panel. It's in here. It doesn't want to go. Alright, and I struggled with these things a lot, but they are on here as solid as the original ones would be. I'm still going to do that side, which is not fun. However, I think today I'm not going to even get around to putting the paneling on the roof, because I haven't quite figured out how that's done. So it wasn't without problems. I need to get more sort of finishing washers, and I had a really hard time finding where the holes were on this side. It looks pretty good over here. There's only a couple of exposed bolts, but that's kind of close to what it was like originally. And I'm going to end up putting some wood pieces along here that I'm going to actually screw the paneling to. But what I've done so far is I have taken a scrap piece of the same exact paneling and put it in roughly the shape it's going to be. And this will give me an idea of how long I need to make it, and hopefully to make it out of two sections. So this is right where the middle is going to be, and the ends are going to come down kind of where this little seam is, even though I'm not going to actually put anything there to hold it up. It's supposed to just be held in by screwed into the board that's here. We'll see how bad that goes though. I'm trying to not drill any holes into this vehicle. However, there is like a hole there that came with it. There's a hole there that they did put in it. I may put some screws right here and where this other hole is, just so that I have something to set the paneling on. But what I'm going to try to do is, the width of this entire thing is more than 4 feet wide. So you can't put one panel across. I know people usually get 5-foot wide paneling for this, but the whole point is I'm trying to use this same stuff and use it all up. So I figure, since it has these little things in it, lines in it anyway, to make 2 pieces. I'm going to make one piece that goes to about the halfway point, and there'll also be a board running across the middle and also at the back too. And so let's say each piece is, you know, maybe 2 feet 2 inches or something. A 2 feet 2 inch piece that is, you know, 8 feet long or so is going to be a lot easier to muscle up there than a whole giant piece. All right, here's my rather janky setup. Although the word janky and table saw should never be used in the same sentence, but I do not actually have a rip fence for this saw, since they're about $90 used. So that is my rip fence, and I don't have any extension things on this thing, so I had to stick the old table saw over there, and hopefully I will be able to run, well, come to think of it, I should have a table here, but I'm just going to run and see what happens. I'm not going to film this next bit. We'll just see the results. Hopefully I won't cut my fingers off. All right, and here the 2 pieces are. The parts that I cut with the table saw were these ends, and they did not come out perfect. So I've decided that the 2 that I'm going to butt together are going to be right here in one of the already made seams. So I think that's actually, you know, once the thing is on there, be hard pressed to, well, apart from the little finishing nails, which I'm going to try to, you know, paint over or something, but hopefully this will look like one panel once it's all up there. And since it's in 2 pieces, it's going to be a lot easier to handle. So getting the paneling up onto the ceiling wasn't very easy, and I ended up putting a lot more holes in it than I wanted to. And while I was at it, I did make all the other panels, so I completely redid the bus except for the front door panels. And if you're wondering how it came out, well, let's just say that my idea to screw it directly to some wood that was behind the metal lip here, that did not work. It did not hold it at all. So as you can see, I had to fill all these holes back in and just use screws. And I ended up, of course, screwing into the car like I didn't want to. However, I think pretty much the result looks pretty nice. Certainly where it matches up to the headliner, this headliner does look a lot nicer than I thought it was going to. And it stayed up for quite a while too. So this is pretty much how the final headliner looks and how the rest of it looks. So unfortunately, this video is getting way too long, so we're gonna have to leave it at that and take it up in the next video. And we're gonna take everything that we learned in doing the paneling in this bus and applying it to the green camper instead. So see you in the next video.